ever episode of the BTMC Podcast. Today I have with me someone who has many firsts to her credit. She was the first lady president of the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. She was the first woman in Bangalore to become a distinguished Toastmasters. She was also the first Indian to be profiled by the Toastmasters International magazine. I am delighted and honored to be in conversation with DTM Sumitra Manamohan. Sumitra, thank you so much for joining us today for this chat. It's a pleasure to have you.
My pleasure too.
Sumitra, I know you are a Mumbaiker to the core. So were you born in Mumbai? How was life growing up and how did Bangalore happen?
Well, I was born, brought up, educated in Mumbai, and it was marriage that brought me to Bangalore. Yeah.
Excellent. Then how did you start your journey in Toastmasters? What inspired you to join this club?
Well, I was a visiting lecturer in Jain College in its early days. And there was Mr. Arnold Mascarenas, who was already a Toastmaster. So he invited me to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. Many thought, as a lecturer, why do you need? Because you're always addressing audiences. But when I attended the meetings, I realized that there's more to Toastmasters than just speaking skills and self-confidence.
Awesome.
So that's what started me on my journey to Toastmasters. It's been a wonderful journey of self-discovery, continuous learning, and this is where I discovered my creativity, my sense of humor, and above all, this attitude that I have is only because Toastmasters. I am what I am thanks to Toastmasters.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sumitra, you are such a prolific speaker. What are some of your best practices that you would want to share with us?
One is whenever you're speaking or in communication anywhere, always be conscious of the receiver or your audience. Have empathy for them. As I always say, if you're not aware of whom you're talking to, it's like writing a love letter to whomsoever it may concern.
Yeah, that'll be a very open-ended love letter.
Yes.
It may backfire. It may work sometimes, but most often than not.
And the other thing I always believe in is, never speak to impress, but to express. Because I find so many people trying to impress people by how much they know or their vocabulary or what knowledge they have. But always think of whatever point you want to make. So I always say, never speak to impress, but to express. Yeah.
So Mitra, you have also been a keynote speaker at various occasions. What do you do to calm your nerves before such big moments?
I think it's the focus that I keep on the assignment. I'm always focusing what to speak and always thinking of what will the audience need. If at all I'm a little concerned when I give these keynote speeches, I'm only worried about my time frame. So if it's Toastmasters, then I become very conscious. If it's some people outside, then I know I have a little margin to go beyond the time. I had this opportunity of speaking to CIOs from across India. It was the Cyber Media Conference in Kerala. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, they gave me the post-lunch session. And I could hold them spellbound, glued to their seats for that full hour. And I saw all of them doing it with their PPT, so I decided to just forget my slides and I spoke from the heart. And the organizers told me generally, even before lunch, people are going in and out of this, but your session, even though it was post-lunch, they were glued to their seats.
Wow.
So that's, I always feel I connect well with the people It's because I give them what they want.
Right.
Yeah. That's
And
what
you also saved them from death by PPT.
Yes, yes.
Sumitra, we say that you joined Toastmasters to be good outside of Toastmasters. Since you have just mentioned about your being a keynote speaker, how did your journey in Toastmasters influence your professional journey?
Well, I'm a corporate trainer, a coach. So, in fact, I am the trainer I am because of Toastmasters. Uh, Talking of, let's go by the prepared speeches. Now, that is something that helps you learn to organize your communication. You know, you have a message to convey, and you build your entire communication around that. And then, of course, the way you deliver it, your voice modulation, your body language, all that comes into play. I had done a speechcraft for when I was assistant governor of education, for the division. Soon after that, I got a call from a blue chip MNC. They said, we want a speechcraft, but because we are corporates, we want you to customize it for us. I said, being a trainer, I had no problem. And what happened was that all the discussions happened over the phone. I kept asking this lady, don't you want to meet me? She said, no need. I used to back it up with emails, and I walked straight into the speechcraft. And after that, for my own trainings also, it kept happening. I just used to speak to people over the phone, and I used to walk in straight to the training. So imagine the time I would save in commuting and all that, So then I sat down and tried to analyze, why is this happening? And then it struck me that it's thanks to Toastmasters, you get your conviction and you're able to communicate with clarity and confidence. And the voice clarity is all because of Toastmasters. And above all, you get your credentials being a Toastmaster. So that is what helps me. I don't have to go for one-on-one meetings. I can manage it just on the phone.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people aspire to be corporate trainers, and this is Toastmasters. There couldn't be a better place than Toastmasters for them to be.
And now coming to the impromptu speaking, it helps you think on your feet, so quick thinking. I had this opportunity of, doing public speaking sessions with primary kids. And it was one of those upmarket schools, so strict instructions, no disciplinary actions if they don't behave. So I had this cheeky brat come into the class. He ignored everyone, including me, not even a smile on his face. So once he settled down, I just asked him, don't you believe in greeting people? To my surprise, he said, no, I'm not bothered what other people say. I just smiled, kept quiet. That day we did a story titled Lazy Jack to explore body language and voice modulation. So I asked this boy to take the title role. He said, no, how can I do that? What will my classmates think of me? I said, but you're not bothered, what others think. So finally he did it because I said, you'll do it very well, and did it brilliantly. Came the break, so all of them went out. And after the break, this boy was the first to step in with a broad smile on his face. I said, hi man, I'm back. And ever since that day, whenever he'd bump into me in the corridors, he'd wish me, sometimes even across the quadrangle. While he waved at me, hello man, he would say.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what helped me, not sort of getting upset with this behavior. There's another, coming to the feedback part, I stand out as a trainer because of my feedback, especially, during the debrief after activities. So I had this opportunity of doing in one of the the biggest public sector in India. I did an attitude development workshop. There was this, I call him an absolute fossil, no smile on his face. He'd been working for the last 15 years. And I was doing a Smile as part of that workshop. So I told them the benefits that you get from Smile and how useful it is and all that. And he realized it, that he started becoming more interactive. And during the lunch break, he started speaking to everyone with a smile. And all the participants came back to me and said, "Ma'am, we've never seen him smile. The first time we've seen him smile." So I said, "Not bad. I've been able to impact these guys." Yeah.
Such lovely stories, Sumitra.
Yeah.
Sumitra, to conclude, I would want you to tell me a message for budding Toastmasters. How can people get the most of Toastmasters? Because we are aware a lot of people join Toastmasters and they're very excited, but many of them are not able to sustain that journey. What happens there? Why do people fall off?
Maybe I think some of them mainly come in for their speaking skills and building up their confidence. And once they feel they've got it, they drop out.
Right.
But my personal message is explore all the leadership roles that Toastmasters gives you. And that is what really helps you, evolve, right? So I would say involve to evolve as a leader. And that's way more important, to evolve as a leader. Speaking skills come. That's there in everyone, and you can pick it up.
Yeah.
But I think these leadership roles is something you need to explore, and Toastmasters is one platform where you can experiment your own leadership style, you can make mistakes, learn. In fact, it's a platform
Yes.
to learn about leadership.
Fail safe.
Yeah, and of course, never miss the president's role. That is what really, it really grills you in your interpersonal skills, planning, anything. You're the CEO of the club. So it really exposes you to true leadership. So that's why I would say involve to evolve.
Involve to evolve. That's something I'm going to take back with me. And I cannot think of a better message to end this chat with, Sumitra. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure and honor once more.
Yeah, it was a great privilege for me too, and I thoroughly enjoyed, especially when I share my Toastmaster skills. It's a sublime joy.
Yeah. And the joy shared is joy doubled, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sumitra. Don't forget to tune in for more such episodes. Thank you.